I know it's really tricky because, like, if I could do it my way, I would get on a camera and I'd say, hey, this is a song about this. I wrote about this, and this is a little part of it. And then I would play it. Like the songs that kind of did well.
Yeah.
Give me 8 seconds, and I'll just try to just, like, do everything I can to get you locked in enough to just give me another, 3 seconds.
Yeah, man, just happy to see you in person. Happy to kind of have you on the podcast. I guess the easiest place to start for me is, kind of researching, going through your stuff on your Instagram. It says, I hope my music just helps you. I mean, obviously, I think we all know what that means, but what does that mean to you?
I think that, like, my music helps me, which is, like, a really, like, that's what I do it for, honestly. Like, that's what I came here for. And as I've kind of, like, played shows for people and just, like, seen responses in person and online, like, it's kind of shifted from just being about me.
Yep.
So, going into a room now isn't just like, well, how do I feel? Some stories aren't my exact story. There's just stories I can relate to. And so I think, like, I'm in a position where I'm fortunate enough to be able to kind of, like, tell stories for people, stories of, my life, other people's lives, and just so they resonate in a different way, because music alone kind of heals. So I think my little thing right now is to help whoever comes across it and for them to resonate it in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think talking to artists, the big overarching thing for me that I get off everybody is, when you make music, it's for you, and when you kind of release it, it's for everybody else, and they're going to take it in their own way. And it is the interesting kind of juxtaposition of healing for you as an artist and healing for someone like me as a listener. So I guess growing up, like, what music did your parents play in your house? My parents played 90s country to death. We listened to Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, Tim McGraw. What did you grow up listening to?
I mean, I heard that stuff at, like, the gas station, just because I'm from a small town. But they played, like, your Billy Joel, your Eagles, kind of the soft rock world, and that's what I heard a lot of. And then I found country music just, again, like, through friends, like, just, like, radio, because we were kind of a prime market for that, I feel. And then my sister too just loved country music and would always have it playing, and I heard Keith Urban. That was, like, my first. And I just fell in love with him and country in general. And so, growing up, I would say, once I got to, like, 10-ish, then I started listening to country music all the time. But before that, it was a lot of soft rock, cool stuff like that, which is I've learned to really enjoy again recently.
So Keith Urban's, like, your introduction to country music at 10. So for me, I went through, like, weird dark phase of, like, Linkin Park was, like, my emo phase, so to say. Who is that for you growing up?
I didn't have, like, I've always kept it, like, if anything, it was, like, worship music was, like, my jam for a while. Gotcha. And love that, but it's really repetitive, and you just kind of got kind of graduated from that, and then I actually fell back into, like, country. But then it was, like, my Shawn Mendes, Ed Sheeran, John Mayer. Like, I was really hot on that for a minute. Then then I started listening to rap, and now you just, like, now I'm just a casual listener, but sometimes you gotta. But I would say, like, probably the John Mayer, Shawn Mendes kind of vibe. Shawn Mendes was my shit for a while. Like, I really loved him.
I feel like everybody went through a Shawn Mendes phase for a little bit.
Pretty mainstream,
right? Everybody kind of had that. So you said Keith Urban was kind of your guy. You're probably more well versed in his discography than I am. I'm trying to think of a song by him, but what's your favorite Keith Urban song?
Probably Days Go By. Stupid Boy. It's a great one. I think that might be my favorite. But Days Go By is, like, one of the first ones I heard, like, on the way to the deer stand with my dad. So that one's just, like, more.
I think that's one I actually do. I think that's one my parents played a lot on the radio. It's always on. So you have over the past 12 months, you got a bunch of new music out. Music that probably super excited about. Your newest one, How Can I Ever Get Over You? Just want to walk us through kind of the story behind it, and it's out. How you feeling about it?
So that's one of those, like, I've that originated from a place of like just being broken up with. I'm kind of chronically brokenhearted. I think that when you have your heart broken, like you can always access that. So it's always a fun one that I think everybody in the room can be like, let's do this. And so that day was a very like, let's go. It's always different. But the process of that was like, hey, we want to like kind of do this Eagles kind of thing, this soft rock, and naturally a little bit countrified. I just think, it could be really like a cool sound to chase after and just really fun. So we kind of went with that, and the writers that I had in that room was just like, it was like a perfect storm. Like they're just like really good in that world and really talented. And so melody started kind of coming, and then we just loved the simple hook of like, just like, how do I get over you if I don't want to? And it like kind of allowed us to kind of like have fun writing the verses and the story around it. But yeah, I mean, that one was written like a year ago, probably. Oh, wow. Like it's been, some of these songs, would just sit on, because I think too, like we were in a different sound. It was I really don't know how to describe it, but it was just like, I love production so much. Like I just love to hear my voice on production. I've always heard my voice like alone, so sometimes I can be opposite of the fans and what they really want, and so I've been doing that for a while. But I feel like we found this happy medium right now of like, pretty chill, but it's still really cool, and like I love to listen to it as well, because that's always huge. But yeah, like really pumped about that one. It's like really kind of setting the stage for like what's to come. So
and I think so. Kind of listening through, preparing for this, I listened through a bunch of your stuff coming from the past year or so. I think my favorite song is one called "Far From God." Just talk to me about that one. That one for me really.
That might be my favorite too. Yeah, that or Rich Man maybe, but like. Far From God, I wrote in L.A., which I love writing in L.A. sometimes, because like now I live here, so I write here a lot, and it's two very different ways of writing. And just like anything else, sometimes it can feel like you're punching in and punching out. And so when we go out to L.A., we'll lock in for like a week with some really cool people out there. That specific one was with Adam Urone and Johnny Price, and they're great. They're just awesome. Johnny Price is hilarious, and I've worked with Adam a ton, and I just love those guys. But we wrote for 2 days. That was one that we wrote for 2 days. Like we just, and I love that. Like it's so nice to sometimes just be like, there's no pressure. We're not getting in here writing a song or a hook that will not likely come back to. We're just gonna like have fun, kind of find something. If we do find something, we do have the next day to come back. I don't remember if I think we found it first day. No, I think we found it second day. I think we found it the second day. But regardless. We came in, and once it's just like when you find that song, like it's just like, and that hook, it's just like, it's this weird kind of like a beyond you kind of thing that comes into the room that kind of writes itself. And that was one of those things. We had written the kind of the chorus, and that just like, so close to heaven, so far from God is like so cool to me. And then channeled my Jesse Murph on the second verse. Love that. I thought that was really cool. And it just felt like so many different genres and feelings, and lyrically I was super satisfied with it. And I love that. It's like one of my favorite ones to play.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
thank you.
Appreciate you telling me about it. So you mentioned a lot, like when you're writing songs, are you doing it collaboratively most of the time, or are you kind of, are there times where you're kind of sitting down by yourself and kind of going through it? So
I have songs that I write for me, like strictly me, and sometimes they're just me, like to where like people wouldn't maybe understand or get it, or maybe not even that, but it's just like, I don't know, it's a release. It's like I still have that for myself. Usually I'll get high and I'll write that. Like I'll just like separate from the world for a second, and I'll just be with me. And but I like every song I put out, except for Who You Kidding, has been collaborative. I just love it. I think ideally the perfect write is, and sometimes I'll have to space writes out for this, is to give me time to start a song on my own. And because maybe I'm just super ADHD, I can never really finish them. I don't know, something happens. But I'll get like a chorus or a verse or just like an energy set, and then take it in, and ideally I have 2 or 3 of those. And maybe we don't do that at all. Some of my best songs, like Far From God, I didn't have an idea going in. We just kind of vibed and figured it out. But I do love doing that. Rich Man was one of those where I brought it in, and Ricky Manning, and he kind of just reshaped it in a way, and like made it better. And just to have 1, 2, or 3 other perspectives on it is really cool. And for me, I've never felt like it really fogs it up. I mean, here and there, but I just think like you get in with people that you know and trust and are talented, and like you're going in with you, like you're giving them a piece of you. So it gives them a better chance to really understand what you're trying to say. Yep. And I think it just gives the room a better chance of making a cool song. Yeah,
I would agree. Does personal experience always kind of play into what you're writing, or are you doing a little bit of like world building as you go?
If I'm alone, if I'm with people that I know really well, but it's super vulnerable and intimate, and I struggle with that. Like I can't really just like pour out my heart to people. Right. It's people I know, I can do that easy. Yeah, but like if I just met you and we're in here, I'm not going to tell you about like my deepest issues, you know? And so sometimes we'll just get in there and it's just like, let's just write something fun that we really enjoy and resonate with. And other times it's like, this has been on my heart. Or other times it's like, this has been on my heart, but I wrote it for you and we'll see if it works or not. But
So you mentioned kind of writing. What are the main differences you think between writing in Nashville and writing in LA? I've talked to other people about this. I'm just curious your kind of take on it.
It's back like I have preferences and it always shifts. Right now my preference is Nashville, but it will be soon LA again. But I do think I pull, even when I'm in Nashville, I try to pull a little bit of the LA into it. I think they both have their ups and their downs. Yep. There's a looseness in LA that's really nice, but sometimes it can be too much. In Nashville, but sometimes Nashville, you know, there can be like, I guess it just depends on like the time, the crew. Sometimes it can feel like there's a ceiling to the song. Other times it can feel infinite. It can just feel like you're just with a bunch of power writers who like also are super in tune with what you're doing. I think that's really what matters. Like it doesn't really matter like what place you're at. It's like the people coming in and really caring, and I think you have to care as well. But I would say the big difference like is probably like the time windows. Like it's like pretty normal to go in like 3 p.m. in LA and have your whole day, and then go in at 3 p.m. and just like take forever to start a song and then finally start one. And like, again, like I love that sometimes because like I like to have my day, and sometimes here because it's 11 a.m. start, shit, I don't wake up before 10 most of the time. So it's like I'm scrambling and then I'm like 30 minutes late. So I try to set a noon start time now. It gives me just a little bit of time to do something, have a little something before. And so that's made Nashville like my favorite. Just having that extra hour and like still going in, and people, you know, I don't know. I just feel like people have lives and families and just like I think just a routine to get back to here. And I think it's really just the difference of the location. I think it'd be, you know, I think it's the same in LA, but they just like to do it before. But yeah, it would be time for sure.
Okay. So I think you're probably one of the first artists I've talked to that is, I feel like you've had a lot of success on like social medias, right? So I think you had a couple TikToks go really pretty well for you, kind of put you in the forefront and kind of, you know, feel like you've embraced that side of it. I feel like artists nowadays are forced to be on that social media. Do you find it to be a necessary evil, or are you kind of like enjoying it as you do it?
It's love-hate. Yeah. Like lately, it's been really hard. But like, I don't know, it's really tricky because like if I could do it my way, I would get on a camera and I'd say, hey, this is a song about this. I wrote about this, and this is a little part of it. And then I would play it. Like the songs that kind of did well. But it's shifted. You know, now it's like, and no shade, I just can't do. I really struggle to do it, and that's if there's anything, there's just bitterness in the fact that I'm not as good online as other people. And but like it's so like, give me 8 seconds, and I'll just try to just like do everything I can to get you locked in enough to just give me another 3 seconds. Sure. And it's all just, I feel like engagement. Now that being said, I feel like there are some like really talented people and like genuine people have like created their own lane and really like their own thing, and I really aspire to be like that. I haven't yet found it, but it's really, I don't know, I just think it's different now. I just don't think it's the same when you get on TikTok. It's not like you just don't give people as much time. It's very just like and you know, the truth is, I mean, if you don't put any extra effort in, or there's no spark there or energy, like, and you just don't even look like you want to be there in front of that screen, it's going to be a swipe every time. So I think it's trying to figure that out, but then trying to not overthink it. And just honing in on the other thing is like the difference between like iPhone videos, high res videos. I've had more success with iPhone videos,
Yep.
but we're doing more high res videos now that I also just think that are like we've locked in and it just like feels really good and really me, that I think if we keep doing it, it will eventually do well. But I think people want personality, and I think artists have to be influencers now, and that is not my skill set. I really struggle with that.
Yeah.
But
it's a tough balance being, you know, an artist on one hand and then feeling like you gotta find your influencer hat to really push your music out. That's even as somebody who like does, you know, influencing on, you know, as a full-time basis, it's a tough balance for anybody. So I can only imagine the rigors of being an artist plus having to, you know, manage a whole social media side of things is kind of insane. So
you want it to feel genuine, and it's like for me it's really hard. Like I feel like sometimes it's like you've lived a moment and you're like, oh, if you even have the thought. I don't even have the thought because my phone, if it's not, I'm just like hyper fixated on what's going on.
Right.
If you have the thought, it's like now you gotta, it almost feels like you gotta be like, all right, that was funny, but now can we laugh one more time? I'm gonna pull my phone out and let's do it again.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. But wait, we're gonna get there. We'll figure out something that works. I really think I think that stuff works, but I do think the people that have really taken it to another level, for example, Alex Warren, I think like his stuff is just like so, like dude's like been an influencer, he knows what he's doing, but like it's also Alex Warren. I don't think it's something that can fully be mimicked without just trying to be like him. I think it's fully him, and I think it's really cool. And those are like, you know, and I think maybe that takes a lot of practice. Sure. You gotta just like start doing it. But I really think that that's a goal. It's like to do it, but also to make it feel genuine. Not to say it's not, but just to feel like.
Yeah. I do think there are a lot of artists that do it very well. Alex Warren being one of them. There's a couple like indie bands that feel like do it very, very well. They have a couple like shticks, but I think, you know, finding whatever feels most authentic to who you are, it'll come around sooner or later. I feel like because that's for me. Like I started doing it, and I was just doing stuff that I enjoy. I'm only sharing this because I enjoy it. There's no incentive behind it. Now I'm kind of here, you know, went from working in a warehouse to doing this for you know, mostly a living. So authenticity people care about for sure. You know, kind of the grind of being an artist, right? How do you find time to take care of, you know, Matt the person, not Matt the artist?
Oh, man, I haven't played a show since December, so I've been doing a lot of that.
A lot of taking care of yourself,
which I love so much, but it's a tricky situation because like I think it calls, what we do calls for a lot, right? It calls for like being in the studio and just like working all the time, and when you're not being on the road. And I haven't, like, you know, I almost feel like I've done that. Now I'm retiring right now. And so we're trying to pick it up and like hit that. And I think it just is different. So like right now it's like get my 8 hours, maybe even a midday nap, you know, like do my just health stuff. And then honestly eat good food and like go out with friends and like enjoy life a little bit. And the other thing honestly is continuing the work schedule, because I feel really empty. Like, why am I here? What am I doing when I'm not working? So that balance. But when it's on the road, it's weird because it doesn't, like, being here, it can hit you every day of like shit. But being on the road, you'll be on a high for a week straight and then it'll all hit at once. And so I think it's all balance. It's just a different balance between the two. I think being on the road, you still have to get your activity in. You know, you still got to have a little bit of fun before or after or both. You know, the show, the set, and like just, I don't know, just really try to enjoy it. Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned the work schedule side of things. I feel like that's like the biggest piece I struggled with is like, you know, I worked this, you know, 9 to 5, so to speak, for a very long time, and having this kind of free structure in a way, you kind of like, am I being productive currently? Like, and you start to kind of really weighs on you after a little bit, doesn't it? So are you, this is something I struggled with, you know, you've now moved from small town Illinois to here, you have had some good success. Are you able to kind of look back on your success and feel good about it, or are you constantly moving that goalpost, so to speak?
I think I have not absorbed it at all. Because in my opinion, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's definitely a perspective thing. Because like me 5 years ago would be like, holy shit. But me now, there's no plaques on the wall. There's nothing tangible, you know. It's like there's been a lot of good looks and there's been a lot of good things, but there's been actually like not these sold out crowds, just sold out headline tour, just like, I don't know, like things that are really like, for lack of a better term, tangible. And so that's like where I'm at now. It's like I've had this, and this, but I haven't had that next level. Yeah. And then when I get there, it'll be that. So, I think, but there are times. There obviously are times where I'm just like, man, like, this is awesome. Yeah,
5 years ago you would be like amazed to just be in that spot. I get that, I feel that.
But I don't have that thought process enough. That's another thing. I think I'm realizing I should probably go to therapy.
Listen, I hear you. As someone who's been in therapy for a hot minute, it's worthwhile for sure. So being an artist, what's for you? What's the most rewarding part to be an artist?
Every time is getting in the truck or wherever I'm at, and like hearing or feeling something, and like getting a demo back and just pressing play and just listening. It's like my favorite thing in the world. I just love hearing the songs and being the first to hear it. And like there's I feel like there's just like so many things you just like give up or just like forget about or lose in the process of doing this. But every time I do that, it's just like the dreamer that I was before I came here just comes back and I just hear it, or I don't, or I'm like, no, but like I'll get those and I'll be like, I can hear that really doing well.
Still good to have that feeling for sure. It's gotta be. So in terms of everything you've put out, what's your most, the song you're most proud of? Maybe not your most popular by any means, but you put it out and you're like, feel so good about this.
That's out now?
Yeah.
Probably If I Was a Cowboy or Richmond. It's between the two. Honestly, I think, man, I don't know.
Not to put you on the spot,
I would have to go If I Was a Cowboy still, because that was just like so. That one, they're both so real, but that one's been real my whole life, which is just like the whole like, I don't know why it's this weird thing, but like there's this. I've always wanted to just be a cowboy. Like it's just not the infrastructure of my life necessarily. So, so I don't know. It just brings me back to being a kid, and like even the cover art is like me in cowboy hat when I first like went to a rodeo and just fell in love with that stuff. So
amazing. Yeah. So I live in the space of music curation. So one of my favorite questions to ask is, put me onto a song or an artist that you've been really into lately.
Okay, just like as of like yesterday, Lola Young is sick.
So good.
She's coming in hot. But I just know I have a couple of really good ones, but I'm trying to think. So I'm trying to think of like people coming pretty. Oh, Gabriella Rose. She's I like good old fashioned country music, something with a beat. Went crazy, and I started listening to her stuff, and honestly, I like. Literally want to sound like that. Production is so minimal, but her voice is just and then everybody here in Nashville, but people don't really know still, is Steven Wilson Jr.
Steven Wilson, I love Steven Wilson.
He's unbelievable. I went down that rabbit because I had heard stuff that was like sick. Specifically, my buddy showed me that I'm a Song one, and I was just like, this is the most, it's just perfect. Like I don't think it could be written better. So I mean, those two are sick. I'm literally just going into my recents now, but
same thing. So
I know, because I do listen. It's like so much different stuff that and it's never like, and I don't really just like spam an album unless it's like Tate McRae recently. I freaking love that. But I would say those two. I don't really see anybody else in there.
Amazing.
It may come to mind later.
Yeah, no worries. So I guess kind of wrap it up. What's coming up for you? Do you have you're releasing new music? What else is on the horizon?
It's somewhat tentative, but we have a song coming out roughly a month from now. Yeah. It's called, I'll say it right. I don't care. It's called "Let You Down."
Okay.
It's another just like pretty just like me and a live band, just like, and it just is powerful to me, and I think a lot of people resonate with it, and it's very just on par with this past one and the next. Don't know what the next will be. I don't know if we'll do another single after that and another single after that. Yeah. We are working towards a project that will sound very unison to this one, or to this last song and to the next song, and just like I think really trying to nail down like the country soft rock, and so it's really a lot of getting it sorted out in the writer's room. But I have a ton at the moment, and the other thing too is there are some songs that like aren't fully that. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, I think there's going to be a bit of a hybrid and a bit of a mix. But I would say mostly like, I'm trying to think like a good. Honestly, like it'd be really cool if we could do like this. Like Hozier soft rock country sound. It's really weird, and I don't know exactly how we're going to do it. Yeah. I think a big thing is going to be trying to get the vocals just like proper and telling the story properly, and like having those moments and keeping production somewhat chill, and making it feel like, I don't know if you see my videos on TikTok, but a lot of them are in a car. Yeah. And there's really nothing but this reverb that kind of ruminates, or I don't know the word, but you know, in the car, and it makes you feel like you're in there. So I just want to make sure people feel like they're in the record with me. Yeah. And then everything else is pretty organic, but like there's still this elevated production that's tasteful. But soft rock is what I would always say. Yeah, love it, man. So, well, I appreciate you taking the time. And likewise, man. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Yeah, appreciate you.